Well, that does it. Yeah, pretty close. A little more time and she might not have made it.
How do they get away with it, Jim?
I don't even like to talk about it. I get so riled about these things, it's criminal. But it looks as if this time we might have him to rights. Maybe this time we're going to get rid of one of them for good.
I hope so.
You're going to be all right, Fred.
I've been praying that's what you were going to say. I can't tell you how grateful we are. When Mary gets well, we'll make it up to you.
We were just doing our job. And you're already making it up to us. You and Mary are going to be a great help in getting this mess cleared up so that it doesn't happen to anybody else. Mary ought to be coming around, I'd say, about 8 o'clock. I expect she'd kind of like to have you here when she snaps out of it.
Well, thanks, Jim. I'll be back here before 8. It's been a long night.
Yes, it has been a long, fearful night for Fred Wilkens. But thanks to the skill of Dr. Jim, his wife Mary is going to be all right. It was but a few months ago that sickness and fear first came into their lives, Fred's and Mary's. They had just returned from the grocery store.
Now, watch out for the one with the eggs. Here. Right here.
George, we ought to trade that car in for a truck.
Well, you can just blame yourself. When I go to the store, I can get by with half a sack full, but you're worse than a kid. Anchovies.
Well, now, they might be good. That's what you get for leaving women's magazines laying around all over the place. You can't find anything to read around here but recipes for dishes that have got anchovies in them. Well, talk about me. Oregano?
Well, I read those recipes, too.
What kind of a recipe called for oregano? Never heard of it. Funny smelling stuff. Looks something like pepper. I can tell from the taste it don't go in any cake. And Mary... What's the matter, Mother?
I just overdid it, I guess. You go on. I'll be all right. Leave the potatoes on the table, will you? I want to fix some for supper.
We're sure you don't need something. Can I get you a glass of water?
Oh, Fred, a glass of water.
Perhaps Mary Wilkens did just overdo it. Or perhaps it was a touch of age. Sensible people don't get worked up about something as vague as a little pain. Still, it frightens you to have it come back anytime you exert yourself the least little bit.
I could get to be a regular hypochondriac if I tried. Grace?
Yes?
How about a cup of coffee? Still got a couple of cups left.
Okay, be right over.
Have some more coffee?
No.
How about a cookie?
No, thanks. Mary, something wrong?
No. No, I'm just not in gear yet. Funniest feeling comes over me anytime I'm tired. Silly to worry about a little thing like that, but it just hits me at the wrong time.
What'd the doctor say about it?
I haven't been to a doctor. Ridiculous to bother the doctor about a little thing like that.
Say, what's it like?
Well, it's a pain, and then a sort of a weak feeling afterward.
That's just what Amy said.
Amy? Amy Little?
Yes, she had trouble like that before she went to see Dr. Jacksburg.
Was it anything serious?
Oh, who knows with Amy. Any little ache and she thinks she needs a major operation.
Who did you say he was? I don't think I ever heard of him.
Oh, I know you've seen his ads. Something or other Jacksburg, Forrest Jacksburg, that sounds like it. I could call Amy and let you know in a minute.
Well, you don't need to go to that trouble.
No trouble. Amy? Say, this is Grace. Who was that doctor you went to last time?
Here it is, Mary. No need to worry when you have friends to look out for you. No need to be frightened anymore.
Well, thanks, Amy. Yes, I'll tell her. Goodbye. Here it is. Forrest C. Jacksburg, Pleasanton.
Pleasanton?
That's not so far. Not too far to go if you can get cured. Say, I've got to go get my laundry sorted.
That's how it happened. Mary Wilkens heard it from Grace King, who learned it firsthand from Amy Little, who had read an ad in the paper. And the quack, who called himself Dr. Forrest C. Jacksburg, had himself a customer. Dr. Jacksburg was quite a man. He had received his medical diplomas through fraud instead of by study. But his real contribution to medicine and healing was his inventive genius, his grasp of the atomic interactions and radionic vibrations affecting human health. These products of his genius had been incorporated into his remarkable and profitable machine for diagnosis and healing, the Cendoscope.
Hang it anyway. That's better.
Lots of them here this morning.
Yeah, business picking up, eh? And the indications are that by means of our special course of treatments, you can be completely cured. The fee for the course, consisting of 20 segments of syndoscopy, will be $300... Gulf Park. Correction, will be $550. Yours in health, Forrest C. Jacksburg, M.D. Mrs. Mary Wilkens, 5706 Garfield Street, Middletown. Dear Mrs. Wilkens, I want to thank you for your letter and assure you we have cured hundreds of cases describing symptoms such as yours. We will, of course,
We'll reserve judgment until we have finished your examination and have definitely pinpointed the source of your difficulty. I have taken the liberty of setting an early appointment date for you as indicated on the attached card.
Blaunosis, positive .0036. Well, Mrs. Wilkens, that confirms my suspicions, and I must say, you didn't arrive here a day too soon.
What is it, Dr. Jacksburg? What's wrong with me?
Now, Mrs. Wilkens, let's not worry about this thing. Our Cendoscope has found your trouble, and it's going to cure it for you. You haven't a thing to worry about.
Is it going to cost very much?
Well, Mrs. Wilkens, how much would you say your life is worth?
My life? Well, I don't know. I never considered it.
Well, the cost of the syndoscopy will be $360 for the entire course of 12 segments. Now, would you say your life is worth that much?
Oh, I suppose it is, if that's what I need.
Well, then, we don't have to talk about money right now, do we? We want to get those treatments started, don't we? You can arrange for paying on the way out. Oh, Miss Simpson, will you prepare Mrs. Wilkens for syndoscopy?
Come with me, please.
Let's see. The pink this time. Always give the ladies the pink medicine. That'll be $12.50, Ms. Wilkens.
$12.50. But I've already paid for the treatment.
Well,
The protonic catalyzer liquid is a special formula compounded to your prescription. It's very expensive and can't be included in the cost of treatment. I'm sure you understand how that is, Mrs.
Yes,
Wilkens.
of course. I didn't understand.
So Mary Wilkens started her course in syndoscopy. She seemed to feel better almost immediately, perhaps because she had told someone about her trouble and had been reassured. And she was being treated with the wonderful syndoscope. As it turned out, she needed a few more treatments than the doctor had estimated. But as Dr. Jacksburg said, your health is worth anything. Of course, Mary still had bad days, but Dr. Jacksburg had told her to expect that. He said it was only a sign that the treatments were taking effect. Then there was the day when she had a really bad spell. The day Fred finally spoke out to say what had been growing in the back of his mind for a long time.
Look here, Mother. I know you set a lot of store by this Dr. What's-his-name, but I wish you'd let Doc Jim look you over.
Now, Fred, don't start that again. Dr. Jacksburg's doing everything that's humanly possible. It just takes time.
But it seems like you keep on going downhill. If you just let Doc Jim verify what this other doctor says.
Now, Fred, I don't mean to say anything against Dr. Jim. I've always had the greatest respect for him, but, well, he doesn't keep up with the latest scientific findings. You don't see any syndoscopes in his office. Now, I'll be all right after my 2 o'clock medicine, and tomorrow's the day for my syndoscope treatment. I know I'll feel better after that. I always do.
All right, Mother.
Mr. Wilkens, Doctor.
Thank you.
Hello, Fred.
Hi, Jim.
Sit down.
Thanks.
Well, what's your trouble?
Oh, it's not me, it's Mary. Jim, how can you tell if a doctor's on the up and up?
I don't quite know what you mean.
How can you tell if a doctor's doing you any good, or if he's not just a quack?
Well, it's not hard to tell if a man is qualified as a physician. If he's a graduate of an accredited medical school, he has to know medicine. The Council on Medical Education in Hospitals of the AMA establishes standards that make certain the doctors have the right training.
Well, this AMA, is that anyone you could write to?
The American Medical Association? Certainly anyone can write to the AMA. But if you just want to know where a doctor got his degree, I can tell you that.
You can?
Sure. The AMA directory. See? There's my name. When I was born, where I went to school, when I graduated, everything.
Doc, would you mind letting me see where a fellow named Forrest Jacksburg got his MD?
Jacksburg?
You've heard of him?
I'm afraid so. And you won't find his name listed in here. I looked for it myself as soon as these ads started coming out in the papers.
Was there something wrong with advertising?
By a doctor, yes. Reputable doctors don't advertise.
That settles it. Doc, Mary's been going out to Pleasanton a couple of times a week for months. Whatever's wrong with her, this Dr. Jacksburg claims he can cure, but he hasn't. I want you to come over and see her no matter what she says. Now, just today, she had a real bad...
Mary?
Fred. Oh, Dr. Jim. I didn't know you were here.
Well, you know how Fred is, Mary. He worries about things. Now, if you don't mind, I'll just sort of look you over to free Fred's mind.
Well, all right, as long as you're here.
Well?
I can't be sure, but I want to get her out to the hospital.
Is it that bad?
Well, it could be. I just can't tell yet. You get her ready and I'll arrange for a room for her. Right now, the important thing is to take care of Mary. And then we'll take care of this Dr. Jacksburg.
I want you to do everything you can, Dr. Jim.
Dr. Winthrop? This is Jim Stewart. Say, what do you people at the Medical Society have on a doctor at Pleasanton, Jacksburg? Uh-huh. It begins to look that way. One of his victims is a patient of mine.
She took this pink medicine he gave her. Stuff cost $12.50 a bottle. Supposed to be part of the treatment. Never did sound quite right to me, but the way science is moving ahead nowadays...
How much have you paid this man?
I'm afraid it's more than $800.
You know, maybe this is a break we've needed. Do you think Mary would be willing to testify against him?
I don't know any good reason why she wouldn't.
Well, let's get the ball rolling. Write the AMA and find out what they know about this man, Jacksburg.
Now, I'll get a list from
As
you.
soon as you get the letter.
I just can't believe that Dr. Jacksburg would be doing anything wrong.
You see, that's the trouble, Mary. These people win your confidence and make you think they're helping you. Can we count on your help?
I just can't believe it.
Mary, you realize you're a pretty sick woman, don't you?
I have been feeling bad, yes.
You're sick. And you've put your confidence in someone who promised to help you. Now, you can't imagine anyone who'd betray a trust like that, can you? But there are such people. Men like Jacksburg haven't any scruples. Even if they knew you were in danger and that scientific medicine could help you, they'd still stand between you and the care you needed, as long as they could leech another dollar out of you. What's happened didn't happen to you alone. It's happened to everyone who has innocently fallen victim to men like this. Right now, we're not even sure he is a doctor of medicine. But as long as that clinic is open in Pleasanton, as long as Jacksburg is free to operate, it's my duty, and I hope you feel it's your duty, to protect other people who may not be as fortunate as you are.
I'm ashamed of myself, Doctor. I hated to admit that I've been taken in, but I guess I have to, don't I? What can I do to help you?
Thanks, Mary. We have to know everything you can remember about your treatment, about this syndoscope machine and whatever medicines are.
Looks like we've got enough evidence here.
What's our next move?
Wire this report of Mrs. Wilkens to the AMA and request any information they may have on Jacksburg. And airmail this protonic catalyzer stuff to them.
In the Directory Department of the American Medical Association, the telegram from the president of the Douglas County Medical Society receives quick attention. The name of Forrest C. Jacksburg will soon be in process. Here in the Directory Department are housed the thousands of cards which make up a perpetual inventory of every legally qualified physician. The first check is made here, where a complete biographical sketch is kept of every legitimate doctor of medicine in the United States and Canada. The name of Forrest C. Jacksburg is missing. Next, volume 19. Could Forrest C. Jacksburg be a recent graduate of a medical school? Could he possibly be a graduate of a foreign school who recently was licensed in the United States? His name is missing. Try again. Could Forrest C. Jacksburg be a foreign graduate who is in this country without a license to practice? Is the name Forrest C. Jacksburg contained in any of these hundreds of thousands of cards in the Directory Department? The name is missing. But there is a name with the same initials, Frank Clyde Jackster. And here is a clue, B of I, Bureau of Investigation. The AMA Bureau of Investigation, whose primary purpose is the collection and dissemination of information on quacks, cure-alls, frauds, and pseudo-medicine. And what interesting similarities there are between Forrest C. Jacksburg and Frank Clyde Jackster. Frank Clyde Jackster is noted for the persuasiveness of his advertising. So is Forrest C. Jacksburg. Frank Clyde Jackster diagnoses and cures any ailment by means of a machine called a syndograph. Syndoscope, a strange resemblance. Could it be that Frank Clyde Jackster and Forrest C. Jacksburg are one and the same? But wait, Frank Clyde Jackster got his state medical license fraudulently. It was revoked 6 months ago. In the laboratory of the Council on Pharmacy and Chemistry, the bottle of protonic catalyzer liquid, which Jacksburg sold to Mary Wilkens, undergoes analysis. It proves to be identical in the makeup of its ingredients to cataloxide Pro-10, which was formerly dispensed by Frank Clyde Jackster. From the Council on Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation comes a report that the description of Dr. Jacksburg's syndoscope tallies in all respects with the syndograph confiscated when Dr. Jackster took hasty flight from his clinic. And from the Council on Medical Education and Hospitals come the details of Dr. Jackster's, or is it Jacksburg's, education. He is the product of a notorious and now defunct diploma mill, not authorized to call himself an MD at all. Nowhere else in the world could such an array of information be amassed about a man who calls himself a doctor. Nowhere but in the offices of the American Medical Association. This is a part of their purpose, to crusade for the advancement of medicine, to protect the right of the general public to have the best in the science and art of healing. To protect the public, the AMA has on file data on the activities of hundreds of quacks. They peddle their fake cures for cancer, diabetes, mental illness, or baldness. There is no field relating to health that does not attract some get-rich-quick charlatan. Finally, in an old report located by the B of I, it is found. Frank Clyde Jackster had once been indicted for passing worthless checks. And the signature on the checks, Forrest C. Jacksburg. That's it. Frank Clyde Jackster and Forrest C. Jacksburg are one and the same. As the facts pile up, the Bureau of Investigation compiles a complete file on Forrest C. Jacksburg, alias Frank Clyde Jackster. This report is returned without delay to the Douglas County Medical Society.
Come in, Fred.
Jim, gentlemen.
Hi, Fred.
Sit down.
Wilkens.
I asked you to come, Fred, because I knew you'd be interested. You tell him, Dr. Winthrop.
Jacksburg's duped his last victim. The AMA sent us information indicating deliberate fraud when he got his license to practice medicine here. And in fact, his license has already been revoked once in this state under his real name. We notified the state medical board, and their report was good enough for the Attorney General. There's a warrant out for Jacksburg's arrest.
Not only that, an injunction has been filed to close that clinic of his, permanently.
So I suspect it's only a matter of time until Dr. Jacksburg is running his clinic in the state penitentiary, thanks to Mary's willingness to testify.
Thank God.
It's a big day today for Fred and Mary Wilkens. Mary is going home. Soon she will be up and around as well as ever. And because of the vigilance of a great many people who guard the health of all, many others may be spared the ordeal that Mary has faced.
Well, Doc, I don't know what to say.
No need to say anything, Fred.
I wish I could thank you and all the rest of them, too. The folks at the County Medical Society, all those people at the AMA, they've all helped us. But I guess you're the only one I can thank personally.
You're the only one I've had any contact with at all.
Well, Mary, if you could see the whole lot of us, it wouldn't be much different. I'm pretty typical. All the AMA is more than 147,000 other doctors of medicine like me.
Well, I guess Fred and I are grateful to all of you.
Well, that's what makes my work a real satisfaction. Knowing that I can help when there's a life to save.